Also, it might be worthy of mentioning that the United Center tickets for the Sky versus the Fever game went on sale this morning, and they sold out within a minute.
21,000 tickets gone in 60 seconds is for Caitlin Clark's first 2025 WNBA game against Angel Reese's Chicago Sky, not for a Taylor Swift concert or an NBA Finals game. This may seem like another WNBA sellout, but here's something no one is discussing. In order to capitalize on Clark's popularity, the Sky literally had to leave their home arena and relocate to the United Center. Meanwhile, Angel Reese's admirers are frantically attempting to portray this as her achievement, but the statistics paint a very different picture.
So the Indiana Fever are facing the Chicago Sky, and they are playing, obviously, in the United Center. There are 20,000 seats.
Did you witness the recent events in Chicago? The Chicago Sky versus Indiana Fever game at the United Center has left the sports world in full disbelief. 21,000 tickets were sold out in 60 seconds flat, which is not only unusual for the WNBA, but also unprecedented for women's basketball.
The Sky Fever tickets went on sale at 11 a.m. today for the United Center. This is the game that was changed into the 23,000 people arena, which I think is only 21,500 for games and 23,000 for concerts, but it sold out like that.
The Chicago Sky announced that they would be moving their home game against the Indiana Fever to the United Center, where Michael Jordan made history with the Bulls. The arena is more than twice as large as their usual home at Wintrust Arena, and Sky fans immediately began pounding their chests online, claiming that Angel Reese's star power was the reason they needed the large arena.
It is going to be one of the most biggest attended WNBA games of all time. I don't know if it's going to be more or less attended, because I think it was 20,000 and something in the Mystics last game of last season, where in fairness, Caitlin Clark played, 15 minutes of that game or something?
But when the tickets went on sale at precisely 11 a.m., reality smacked like a buzzer beater. By 11:01 a.m., the unthinkable had occurred. This wasn't a simple sellout. It was a digital stampede, and a minute later, every seat was gone. The Gati ticket website collapsed many times as a result of individuals scrambling to get seats.
But this game being in the United Center, if you guys did not see, tickets sold out. And tickets sold out in 5 minutes. They sold out in 5 minutes. United Center sold out in a minute. Sorry, not a minute, 5 minutes. A minute.
If you were in the United Center and did not notice that the tickets were sold out and that they sold out in 5 minutes, then this is what makes it so illuminating. United Center sold out in 1 minute. Sorry, not in 5 minutes. The empty seats at the Chicago Sky's 10,000-seat Wintrust Arena during regular games speak loudly, but when a certain rookie from Iowa visits town, they must more than double their capacity. The Chicago Sky can hardly reach their regular venue when playing regular games.
The time it takes to tie a shoelace, pour a cup of coffee, or check a text. That's all the time the Chicago Sky needed to sell out 20,000 tickets for their highly anticipated matchup against the Indiana Fever. And let's not kid ourselves, the reason is as clear as day: Caitlin Clark.
No other game in the entire league has ever sold out this quickly, not even close to this 1-minute frenzy stance, which is entirely unique in WNBA history. The average attendance for the WNBA was 6.19, but during her debut year, it was 15,746, or 157.7 millioners.
Caitlin Clark went to the WNBA. The average attendance was 6,109. And then during her rookie year, the average attendance was 15,746, which is a 157.7% increase.
There is more going on here than a sporadic surge in interest whenever Clark is slated to perform. Ticket sales are exploding. The website crashes were the digital equivalent of thousands of people attempting to enter a single doorway at once, not just technological errors.
It literally sold out in less than a minute. In less than a minute. And I'm not somebody that, again, wanted to go to this game, but it's still crazy.
The difference could not be more. When you look at ordinary Sky home games, you can almost hear echoes in the arena when Clark isn't there. However, when she announced that she's coming to town, 21,000 tickets suddenly disappeared more quickly than you could say Rookie of the Year.
Get tickets. Seats kept disappearing. They started $200. Back in 2007, you get season tickets for that price. You can go get season tickets probably a year ago for that price in some teams.
It's almost hilarious to watch social media right now as Reese supporters launched a full-scale propaganda campaign across every platform, with people creating intricate Twitter threads, Instagram stories, and TikTok videos all pushing the fantasy that it's actually Angel Reese driving these insane ticket sales. Those empty seats when Clark isn't playing speak volumes, but Angel Reese fans are covering their ears.
They didn't release all of the tickets, and a few moments later, more tickets were released. There's no doubt that this game is going to sell out. It is like the hot ticket of the season. And incidentally, it is going to break the record for the biggest crowd of a WNBA season.
However, the real figures are what really make this strange. This isn't even debatable because the Chicago Sky couldn't even fill half of their usual arena when Angel Reese plays home games without Caitlin Clark there. There are vacant seats everywhere, and you can actually hear discussions from AC across the court.
But they're there to watch. It's going to be all Fever fans again, by the way. Now, people do not realize, there are some Chicago Sky fans. There really are. But as you guys can tell, not every Chicago Sky game will sell out this year, even in their 10,000 seater stadium.
The TV ratings totally destroyed that narrative last month when Reese fans were raving on social media that she had unmatched drawing power and was the true face of women's basketball. Angel's featured game drew in just 89,000 viewers, making it the lowest rated WNBA broadcast of the season. Not just the lowest rated bow.
And the Fever are going to sell out every single game immediately in Cambridge, which is even bigger.
Meanwhile, when Caitlin Clark takes the court, attendance records not only break but shatter. We're talking about hundreds of thousands more people regularly tuning in, not just for one game, not even for two, but each time Clark plays, the numbers aren't even close.
You've got to be completely honest here. It is a league first and foremost, and the most important thing is that the league long-term is going to be profitable, or at least it looks like it has the potential to be. Otherwise, once that TV deal is done in 3 years, it's over. And right now, this has not been the greatest look in the world for Unrivaled.
Some fans are actually speculating, and I'm not making this up, that Reese is actually the reason why people want to see Clark perform. As if 21,000 people rushed to purchase tickets because they're thrilled about the supporting cast, rather than the main attraction. It makes sense that their mental gymnastics would win gold medals at the Olympics.
Just this game alone, by the way, selling out the 2 Fever games makes the Chicago Sky a profitable team. There are teams that are probably going to be profitable purely from the Fever games.
You want further evidence that the Indiana Fever will play the Brazilian national team in an exhibition match at Clark's College's Carver Hawkeye Arena? Can you predict who won't be attending that game and what happened to the quick sellout? Angel Reese is completely irrelevant.
Games got moved last year because Angel Reese had to show up and was going to play. Did any games actually get moved? Oh, yeah, some games did get moved. The ones where she played Caitlin Clark.
We're seeing a group of fans who just can't accept reality. They live in a parallel universe where attendance records, viewership statistics, and sellout times don't exist. Alternatively, they may believe that everyone is purchasing tickets to Clark games because they secretly want to see Reese, which would be equivalent to claiming that people purchased tickets to Chicago Bulls games in the 1990s because they were thrilled about Luke Longley.
There are going to be a lot of teams in the WNBA profitable if they can get those huge. I know obviously it costs a lot more to have an arena, to hire out a bigger arena. It costs a lot more for security. It costs a lot more for other things. But at $200 a pop, let's just say minimum ticket being $200.
The same WNBA team owners who were publicly disparaging Caitlin Clark fans only months ago are now frantically booking larger arenas whenever the Fever hits town. This level of hypocrisy is mind-blowing. Talk about a complete change of heart when money enters the picture.
It is mad that people are talking about, and I did say it. I did say that the Caitlin Clark mania was going to die. I genuinely thought that the mania was going to die, and it really hasn't. It really, really hasn't.
Remember the Atlanta Dream owner who went viral last season and disparaged Clark's entire fan base with that famous "you don't like us" comment? Well, guess what they're doing? They've suddenly moved to a larger venue for their game against the Fever, and the same fans they were disparaging are now the ones they're frantically trying to accommodate. It's funny how quickly morals vanish when dollar signs appear, isn't it?
But a lot of the Sky fans are not happy about this, as some of the season ticket holders who were holders from the Wintrust Arena who were given tickets to the United Center. Some people had close seats, and the transfer for the United Center put them up in like the nosebleed section.
The interesting part, though, is that this isn't only occurring with the Dream. It's spreading like wildfire throughout the WNBA, with teams that previously mocking Clark supporters now rushing to modernize their venues and raise ticket prices. The change is taking place in front of us, and it couldn't be more obvious.
Oh, what a tangled web we weave when we choose to deceive. And what I am talking about is the Atlanta Dream.
You can practically follow the development of their messaging in real time. The first phase is when those aren't true WNBA fans. The second phase is when we need to take advantage of this chance. Now that we've reached the third phase, we ask that you please attend our games. The desperation is evident and, to be honest, a little embarrassing.
Drama that happened last season when their retard owner by the name of Renee Montgomery came out and said, nah, Caitlin Clark effect, Caitlin Clark fans, nah. Everybody remember that shade she decided to throw at the fans?
What's particularly telling is that these teams are effectively giving up home court advantage when the Fever hits town. They are aware that their arenas will be packed with Indiana fans cheering for Caitlin Clark while sporting Fever jerseys. But they are prepared to give up that competitive edge because, let's face it, money talks.
The Atlanta Dream. Now, in case you do not know, the home opener for the Atlanta Dream is against Caitlin Clark in the Indiana Fever. All right, and so what is it that the Atlanta Dream has decided to do? They have decided to move the game.
Have you spotted this situation's larger irony? Instead of celebrating Clark's influence, many in the league seem almost bitter about it while simultaneously profiting from it. The WNBA has been saying for years that they want to expand women's basketball and have been pleading for more attention, viewers, and ticket sales. Now that someone is actually making that happen, what is their reaction?
Person right here, Rosalina Lee, tweeted out the following: the Atlanta Dream moved their game against the Indiana Fever due to a scheduling conflict. It had nothing to do with being able to sell an extra 13,500 tickets. Oh, again, here we go. Quote, we invested significant resources and energy into making Gateway Center Arena the most unique home court experience in the WNBA.
This is the epitome of wanting to have it both ways. They want the crowded arenas, the publicity, and the money that Clark brings in, but they don't want to admit the reason why. Instead, they want to act as though the league is expanding collectively, rather than due to the unquestionable influence of one game-changing player.
However, due to a scheduling conflict at Gateway, we saw an opportunity to bring this exciting early season matchup to State Farm Arena. You don't say. You don't say. Why is that? Caitlin Clark's coming to town.
There is no greater indication of the financial incentives. When Clark's fan following was merely making noise on social media, these teams were quick to condemn them. But now that they are turning out with credit cards in hand, prepared to purchase tickets, merchandise, and concessions, they are suddenly showing off.
I mean, I'll give Caitlin Clark fans some real credit. They stay on target. Luke Skywalker style. Seriously. But Renee hates the fans that you moved this game for because, quote, they're not like us. So she won't keep them from buying tickets. Oh, she's a POS.
We cannot deny what is happening in front of our eyes. The WNBA executives' own figures provide the complete picture. This isn't about picking teams or playing favorites. Rather, it's about realizing that one rookie has drastically altered the financial landscape of women's basketball. Former WNBA players are even stating as much. Attendance has increased by an astounding 154.181, over $15,140 a game. The WNBA now has a straightforward decision, since Clark's ability to attract these enormous crowds is not only amazing, but also crucial to the league's financial survival. Accept the Clark phenomena that is packing arenas, or continue to act as though something else is causing all of this expansion. But when league execs are publicly admitting her influence on revenue, why are we to believe that the Clark effect isn't real? It's the most precious asset the WNBA has ever seen.
I want to acknowledge the singular impact Clark is having on the WNBA growth to a level that is often somewhere between disrespectful and delusional. But when it comes to time to bring in that money, suddenly these same folks want all the Caitlin Clark fans to spend that bread.